I don't care what the score is. We got one more point than that. That's all I care about, man. Right? Finding a way. Finding a way every week. Guys stepping up for injured guys, playing their off, man. Doing a hell of a job. Hey, I told you, man, this week right here was the most important week of our season, right? A lot of character in this locker room right here, man. A lot of character. Get your chins up, man. I'm so proud of you guys. Keep finding a way. Finding a way.
Hey, good teams win the ugly ones too, man. They're not always gonna be pretty. On our mind is number 6. That's it. Number 6 this week. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
What is up? What is up? This is the very first edition to the Chop Up with your boy Jay Spence the King. I got my man Muki joining me shortly, and we're I don't know, it's bittersweet. It's a good thing, it's a bad thing. We are currently 5-2 as the Buffalo Bills, the 2020 version of the Buffalo Bills. We are 5-2, so it's a good thing, but I don't know how good I feel about the team right now. We got my man Muki joining me right now. What's going on, Mook?
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Man, I don't know. I don't know how I feel is what I'm saying. How you feeling right now?
Better than the one I was on Tuesday, I'll tell you that.
That's a fact.
Much better.
That's a fact. I'm happier, but at the same time, I'm not too happy. So we're gonna touch on that. Like I said, so let's get right into it, because I know you've had a busy day. I know I didn't realize, just so y'all know, we might think about some different scheduling things. I didn't realize Muki goes live, and then as soon as he's done with the radio station, he's like sprinting home to jump on this with me. So we might figure out some other things, but we're gonna get right into it, man. A win is a win. Yeah. So at the end of the day, we're 5-2. We're number 1 in our division. But I don't like it, dog. How do you feel, man? Tell me how you feel after this 18-10 victory against the Jets.
We can't be too spoiled too early, all right? A couple of years ago, winning like this, we would have been real ecstatic about it. And I'm ecstatic about the win. As a football coach, you want to see your team get that ugly win early in the season, because that's showing that your team has been battle tested, all right? Mm-hmm. Hey, that first half wasn't pretty. It kind of mimicked what we've been seeing out of the offense and the defense for the past 2 games. It did, to a certain degree. Special teams didn't help ours, either, with that errant first field goal kick that went, I don't know where that kick even came from. He just completely shanked it. So for some reason, though, I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to comment on that. I'm going to give this kid a chance, because it seemed like it was going to be that type of game that he would eventually get another shot at it. And little do we know, he would end up getting 6 more shots at it. So I think you want that ugly win. You want your team to be battle tested. It's a division opponent, all right? It's good with every divisional game is going to be a dogfight. They're not going to be blowout victories. They're going to be good because you play these teams twice. These are a common foe that knows your ins and outs more than any team in the league. So they're going to be tough games. Don't look at the Jets being 0-6 and the Bills, being 4-2 and say, oh, yeah, the Bills is, going to dominate this game. I felt that way. I still felt that way, but still keep in mind that with all this COVID stuff going on, we're experiencing technical difficulties here. Sorry about that. little pass interference on the play, a little PI there. But with this game here, to see those guys bounce back in the play, I think this is the game that they rallied together, and you've seen all phases of the game. Andre Roberts, this is what Andre Roberts need to do. We don't need to see Andre Roberts in 5 wide set. We just need Roberts out there returning kicks, establishing field position. I thought he played very well. I thought the special teams came alive. The defense came alive in that second half. I don't know what really clicked, but they came out there firing on all cylinders. And I did like the balance that we did finally see in our offense coming out in that second half. So, I like the improvements. I like what I see going forward. It looks like the Bills are kind of figuring it out. The more and more they get that look at those teams dropping back in coverage, the more and more Josh is able to, let it slow down and let things develop. And you saw that out there. He was real consistent once again, still throwing over 70%, still throwing over 300 yards, didn't get a touchdown, but didn't throw a pick either. So that's let you know that, hey, he was patient. He took what they gave him, and, he made plays. And we're going to need him to run to, for us to be in these ball games. We're going to need him to run. So I like how, he was running smart today. The Bills was playing real cautious, but they was playing aggressive at the same time. And hopefully this stuff can carry over until, next week when they play New England.
Okay. Well, I mean, I hear the optimism in your voice. Like, I hear what you're saying. I'm gonna tell you how I feel. So first, I agree with you as far as, we can't take it for granted. Like, it's a division game. The Jets are, even though they're 0-6, Lorenzo Alexander and I talked about that. We said, like, look, you can't sleep on the team just because they're 0-6. Like, they're still professionals. So I get all of that. My problem is I expected to see dominance today, man. Like, I expected the Bills to come out and look like they were the 4-2 team while the Jets were the 0-6 team. Today, I didn't see that. And I don't know if you got a chance to listen to the pod yesterday that I did with Zoe, or this morning, I should say, that I did with Zoe. But the thing that the first thing that I was like, look, if I see Frank Gore average over 3 yards a damn carry, it's going to be a problem. This dude averaged 5.5 yards per carry. Frank Gore averaged 5.5 yards a carry against the Buffalo Bills in 2020. This isn't 2013 when he's with the 49ers. This isn't like young Frank Gore. This isn't his son. Frank Gore, the same dude that couldn't get us a first down on 3rd and 1 last year, averaged 5.5 yards a carry on us, man.
Yeah, he did. And I said the same sentiments. I mean, when you look at how much Kansas City ran on them, you figure that would be, some of the Jets' mindset going into this game too. Whenever a team gives up almost 250 yards on the ground, the next opponent is going to figure out how can they emulate, what Kansas City was able to do in the run game. So they wanted to get Gore going. I said it too. If they run to the left, I don't know what's going on that left side, but, they run to that left, it's money over there. And a few times they did convert on some short yard situations running to the left, but they was able to rebound. And you still got to look at these factors too. Is guys dealing with injury, so you're not going to get that consistency that you would normally see in a Bills team that was full mass. Right now they're not full mass. Milano played in the second half, and you can ultimately see a big difference in the defense. When he was out there. So they still banged up. I thought Dane Jackson, played phenomenal out there today with his first pick, his first ever start. I thought up front they played how they supposed to have been playing all season long. I mean, Jerry Hughes was out there, playing like a man possessed. He was setting the edge. It was good for him to set the edge, especially when they tried to do those little bootlegs and roll Darnold out. He was able to still contain the edge and cause pressure to force him into making a bad throw. Vernon Butler. There's a Vernon Butler sighting out there today.
There was.
It was a Vernon Butler sighting out there today. And, that's, one thing I can say is maybe this was the game that the defense is finally starting to gel up front. They really got after it. Now, all I do understand is it's a Jets team that really isn't that good. But for the Bills' defensive mentality going forward, I mean, hey, it don't matter if the Jets or it's Kansas City, if they played out aggressive, consistently, then, this defense will regain, some of that notoriety that made them one of the best defenses in the NFL. They just needed, coach need to keep dialing that stuff up. The more and more he does it, the more and more they get familiar with it. And guess what? Before you know it, they're playing aggressive. They flying to the ball. They're making plays. And then, hey, once our offense really start to blend that run game that we finally saw today, they still have to get better at balancing it out. And now put our tight end in with it. Put the tight end with that run game. You want to fix that problem in the red zone because they got to the red zone pretty much at will. They couldn't just punch it in. So now use the tight end down there. Teams are still going to double digs. You don't have John Brown. You had a good run game going. How about doing some run action and hit that tight end now? You know what I mean? Let's keep Tyler Kroft at a more traditional tight end. Let's not put him at an H-back. Keep him at a more traditional tight end, just off the edge, set the edge as far as your run game, to manipulate the edge in your run game and use him, as a decoy and, in run action situations. So Dable did a good job in that second half on keeping them off balance with balance, but we still struggled inside the red zone. That end around, that almost could have been disastrous. If we didn't just, by the big foot of Baz was able to make up for that bad call that Dable did on that end around right there.
But that's a point that I kind of, Jason Stroud says in here, red zone play calling, what the hell? So that's actually something that I wanted to bring up because moving the ball didn't seem to be a problem throughout once you look at the game in its entirety, the offense moved the ball up and down the field. It didn't seem like that was an issue. But once we got within the 20, really within like the 15 to 10 yard line, it just seems like the offense just couldn't really punch it in. Now, I feel better about the running game after today. I know that the offensive line still isn't kind of what we expected. But to your point, talking about the red zone offense and how we struggled there, what do you see from after looking at it today at first glance? Because I know we didn't have the time yet. Neither of us got a chance to go and look at the all-22 or anything like that. But as far as that red zone offense, because we've so far for the season, we've been good there. So what do you think that we have to kind of adjust, or what do you think that we have to go back to get this corrected going forward?
Well, it's just the look. They're going to keep getting that 7 to 8 man drop off. When you look at it inside that red zone, those guys is dropping back. So you got seven DBs in coverage and 4 receivers running around. Nobody's going to be open. So they got to do a little bit more. Like I said, Coach Dale got to get a little bit more creative, in that play calling to manipulate some of those windows to where guys could be, open. And maybe he need to overload the side, just getting a 3-by-1 set and run the ball, because now you got a balanced formation to the point where a defense don't know how you're going to attack it. Use your tight end down there. Use your tight end. That's a big help. Everybody want to double digs, watch for Beasley dragging across. Use your tight end down there and, get some power run. Let's get to a power formation and run the football.
Anthony says Zach Moss. Listen, we had a Zach Moss sighting. Aside from just like the normal few handoffs that he gets when he's healthy, we had a couple big plays from him. And the thing that I'm excited about, that I'm always excited about when I see Zach Moss, is that you can tell that he's the beast that we want him to be. I still don't think that we're quite giving him the amount of opportunities that he should have. And I understand that we got to split carries between the two backs. And I also understand that, Josh is doing his thing right now. He's Mr. 300 yards a game right now. So I get that the offense is going to run through Josh first. But, dude, Zach Moss today. And even Singletary, the running game period. I'm just saying, man, this in the red zone needs to be the focal point.
But don't wait too late to get your run game going. They waited till like 3 minutes into the second quarter to even attempt their first run. Their first carry came late in the second quarter. Josh Allen was out there like it was 7-on-7 and just throwing the ball. Like we was just throwing the ball. So, you got to establish. Now, imagine if they established that run game early, getting Zach going early, do it early. So now you keep a team off balance. Like, the holes were so wide open because they didn't think that Josh was going to hand the ball out right there. They probably thought he was going to keep it or, do some run action that didn't warrant that because we haven't been running the ball. They finally gave it to him off the edge, and, he has some big runs right there. Hopefully, once again, that should carry over to New England because San Fran is manipulating the hell out of them right now running off the edge. So hopefully the Bills can duplicate that, when the Patriots come in our building, this Sunday. But get the run game going early. You're going to have to do that. It's getting cold now. Teams are playing off. They're not going to allow you to just, hit digs one-on-one or just to throw it deep now. They're going to, force you to dink and dunk, and then that field gets tight inside that 20. Then you're going to have to, really execute inside that red zone. That's where your tight end comes into play. So, I think they're still progressing and learning as an offense. But one thing we know for sure, our passing game is tight. Our passing game is super tight. Now, let's blend that run game going into, the second half of the season. And now teams can't afford to play you in off coverage because your run game is so well. So hopefully they get that going in the weeks to come, and you'll see a much balanced football team.
Well, let me ask you this, because you mentioned the tight end position, and as much as I love Dawson Knox, and that again, I talked to Lorenzo Alexander yesterday, and this morning he kind of mentioned, like, he can't wait for Knox to come back because he feels like he's a weapon that can really be used. But Mark makes a point in the chat here that he feels that Croft should be the starter. It was refreshing for me to see, and I know there weren't like a ton of plays where the tight end like made the play, but it was refreshing for me to see Josh Allen throw to a tight end, and I wasn't worried about the catch. I was more so worried about the injury. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, I just felt like, okay, if we're going to go to Tyler, he's going to catch the ball, he's going to get down, or it's going to be a first, something. But what do you feel about the way Tyler Croft played? He looked really good to me in comparison to Dawson Knox.
I don't know who had a more who saw a ghost first moment, Daniel Jones or Tyler Croft, because I mean, like, you're so wide open. All you gotta do is just stay up on your
Yeah.
feet. And he just couldn't believe that he was running down the sideline. He got a little bit too happy and just tripped himself up. But yeah, Tyler Croft actually was the starter. Was brought in here to be the starter. Didn't know how Dawson Knox would develop, but he had tremendous upside coming in. That's why the Bills select him late in the third round. I think it was third or fourth round. But Tyler Croft was brought in financially, to be the starter. But injuries kind of, set him back with that. And, Dawson Knox crept up in there at a time where, Croft was dealing with injuries. Now that he's completely healthy, you're starting to see the potential that the Bills brought him in a couple of years ago. So you're starting to get a rapport with Josh. He's starting to get a little bit more comfortable in his offense. Keep him at a traditional tight end. Don't have him at an H-back. That's something that he's not familiar with. Keep him at a traditional tight end. The Bills' run game and their pass game is more better when he's in just a more traditional tight end right next to that tackle. Nasty split, however you want to do it. Just keep him in a more, traditional tight end formation, and you'll see better results. But yeah, Croft should be the starter going forward. Knox has been dealing with issues, and then now we had this COVID situation. So right now it's just not reliable. Tyler Croft is reliable. I wouldn't be surprised if the Bills are probably make a trade for another tight end at this point. But I do like Tommy Two-Tap Sweeney. I do like him. But right now he's still on the PUP list. So I just like we're getting some sort of play from our tight end. We're getting everybody involved finally in this offense. So now when John Brown comes back, and we should be clicking on all cylinders now that we're starting to see, this game that we're starting to, show some more emphasis in the run game, because you definitely need that. If teams are going to keep playing off, you got to run the football no matter what. So the more and more you try it, the more and more the team going to get better at it. So you just got to keep repping it out, man. And hopefully we'll have some breakthroughs. We'll have a 100-yard rusher coming up, Who say, we could do it against New England next week. But all in all, I don't think Josh Allen got sacked today. No, I don't think he did.
I think he did. I think he did.
I think he did. But for the most part, I just like how smart Josh was with running the football. He was a real smart runner. He got out of bounds. He did have the one instance where the ground caused the fumble. He's like, oh, come on. I know this ain't deja vu all over again. But, the ground caused the fumble. And then after that,
we're talking about the strip sack, too. So he was strip sacked. But
Yeah, the strip sack. I mean, hey, that was just a good play. That was just a good play. Caught Mitch Morris. Mitch Morris always struggles against the Jets. Always struggles against the Jets. Other than that, I think Mitch Morris has been having a pretty good season. But something about them Jets, man, he really struggles with. And, he was battling out there today. And, hey, Jets went out there and made a play, but guess what? The defense responded. The defense went out there and responded to it. So everybody helped each other out today. Even when Bass missed that field goal, you seen the encouragement from teammates and the coaches and stuff like that. And they knew, hey, we in the dogfight right here. Shake that off, keep going, and, you'll get more opportunities. And he was able to do that. He still ended up missing another one. But, I mean, this is something you can definitely learn and build from going forward. Win is a win. I like the ugly win because it gives your team that experience. They've been in a tight situation with their backs against the wall against a team of not their caliber. So it's more pressure than anything to go out there to win. You don't want to be the first team to take an L from a team who hasn't won a game. You know what I mean?
That's a
So
fact.
you don't
That's a
want to be
fact.
that team. So whatever the Bills had to do to get the job done, they dug deep and they got that damn job done today. So I can't be mad at how they played. We do want points. I mean, we do want points, but hey, our field goal kicker made 6 field goals. I'm good with that because he's my fantasy kicker. So we had a big day in the kicking game.
Like you got like 24 points in the kicking game today.
Yeah.
Well, listen, since we talked about Tyler, because, obviously there are going to be fans and media members who are critical of him because he missed the 2 field goals. I believe one was 37 yards and the other one was 45 yards. So those are makeable kicks. Like, no other way to look at it. We can, I'm sure there's positives. So he what did he make? 5 kicks? Yeah, he made 5 kicks. So he scored all the points that we had today. So all in all, with the 2 missed kicks, but then also he won the game with 18 points. What's your honest assessment of him right now?
Tyler Bass, he's a rookie. He's just learning as he go. We got to be patient with him. I mean, obviously the Bills got rid of Hauska. Maybe they did it premature, maybe they didn't, but they pulled the trigger on it. So, I mean, we gotta ride or die with it. We can't be bougie to the fact that we want our field goal kicker to make every field goal that he goes out and kick. I get that, but we still have to be realistic. Hey, he's a rookie guy. He's never been he's learning as he go out there each time to make a kick. It's a different situation for him each time he go out there and make a kick. So, like I said, he has to get better as a kicker, and he just has to learn on the fly. We just want him to be more accurate, and start. Hey, he was flexing, like you said. My man Jason was flexing. I like that swag in him. He was swagged up. He had that mentality. So hopefully that can carry over, on some things. So,
man,
I'm
Bruce
good with
Nolan
that.
said that right now kickers in 2020 are making about 85% of their kicks on average. Right now, I believe Tyler Bass is more around like that 72-ish percent. I could be wrong, but I looked at that a little bit earlier. 75 for Bass today is below average, but not terrible. Here's the thing. It's not terrible. You're right. But the thing that bothers me about the whole game. So I'm with you, Muki, and I'm trying to be as positive as possible. And it's like, it's a W. It's a win. It's a win. Man, we didn't score a touchdown. I get it. Not every game is going to be pretty. I know. And Josh, in his post game, like the locker room speech that they had, he's like, hey, fellas, not every win is going to be a win or a beautiful win and blah, blah, blah. Listen, we can't score a touchdown on the New York Football Jets this season. Come on, man.
Be like that sometime, It's that type of game. It was that type of game, but hey, at least our kicker was up for the challenge,
Yeah.
It was an ugly game. He was 6 for 8. He ended up missing that chipper real bad, but he come back and knocked down the 53-yarder. So, you gotta remain confident in your kicker, that he'll, eventually shake that stuff off and just be a little bit more consistent. I mean, continuity is the key. It's the issue that's going on with not only just the Bills. Every team in the NFL has some sort of adversity that they're dealing with due to COVID, and and the coaches are really coaching their asses off because they got to go through so many other things than they would normally do in the season. Like Thursday come around, you game plan with these guys, and then somebody tests positive for COVID. You got to put them on a reserve list. You got to bring a guy from the practice squad who hasn't got necessary reps, and it throws off everything. People don't look at it, from that perspective, but it really messes up the consistency factor. And, you see that how John Brown is so valuable, in our passing game right now. You got Diggs and you have John Brown who could really blow the top off. Even if they were playing those 2-man shells, as long as you got a healthy John Brown and Diggs, it's still going to be areas where the offense can work, but you're missing John Brown. All right, so you need all your guns to make that work.
We miss John Brown. Like, regardless of how, and I get it, Josh threw for 300+ yards today, and we absolutely miss John Brown. I was happy for Beasley. He had a phenomenal game today, but you can absolutely see the effect that John Brown has on this offense when he's not in there. before we get to like the fan questions, because I know that there will be some in the chat here. We have another. We did have one from Twitter that somebody wanted to ask about. Harrison Phillips was a healthy scratch again today. What gives with that? Like, what's your take on that? Because I want to go from here before the fan things. I want to go here and then talk about. I know the Bills didn't quite go live with the post game interviews, so I kind of want to talk about what you heard before they post them, and then we can go from there. So first, let's talk about Harrison. What do you think? What's going on with Harrison, man? I would have thought that at least he would have been in there today after not playing last week.
Well, I mean, Harrison Phillips, he had 2 knee surgeries. Everybody's just thinking it was one. He had 2 knee surgeries this offseason. So that's tough to battle from. I mean, the good thing about that, I mean, he hasn't aggravated any one of those injuries, but you can still see that, he's still fighting to regain, he's not at 100%. He's not at full strength with it. And, and it shows to the point where you can't have him out there right now. See, he has to completely, fully heal. It's been rumored that, he is on a trading block. It is rumored to believe that Trent Murphy is on a trading block as well. But, you got to go in there.
He had a good day.
It was all. I mean, you better have a good game when you was a healthy scratch the last game.
Yeah,
I expect you to play, a little bit more fired up. You should. But they have to, they got to get some continuity going. I mean, today was the first time you actually saw those guys moving with some rhythm, and Coach Frazier was sending the house, man. He was sending. I like how he was disguising the look. I like how he was sending Poyer from everywhere. I like how he was coming with those delay blitzes with Marlowe out there. I really love how they put a nice, solid, package together. I would love to see this type of defensive play versus the Kansas City Chiefs, and we would see what type of game we would have. That was the type of defense I was hoping to see versus Kansas City. All right, but, it's a method to coach's madness with that. And hopefully they'll get an opportunity later on in the season to see what's good with Kansas City. But right now, I think the guys rose to the occasion on as far as embracing this adversity situation, losing the past 2 games, having, a dismal first half, to come out in the second half to play like they are the front runners of the AFC East.
Well, I mean, if you look at it, I feel like at this point we know, at least it depends, obviously, next week when we play the Patriots, you'll really have a good handle on where things are. But I feel like the AFC East shouldn't, at this point, it's not a fear of mine to lose at this point anymore. But it's just still, if we can't dominate, and I keep going back to that, like, I know, man, and I'm sorry, but we didn't dominate. We just didn't look good at all. To me, we didn't look good. The second half, we looked better. The defense looked better when Matt Milano played, but dude, 18-10, there's a part of me that just really can't sit here and be happy, and I'm trying to be that happy. Like, I'm telling you, during the game, I was talking to my normal man.
How can you not be happy with hey, a win?
I'm happy with the win. I'm happy. So looking at the standings and looking at the win-loss column, I'm happy. But the thing is, I also understand that last week and the week before we played 2 very talented rosters that we expect to see in the playoffs, and we didn't look like a team that should have been on the same field with them. And then today we play a team that we're supposed to run through and over, and we look like, for the first half at least, we look like they were actually like really competing with us. That's a problem for me, man. I just really can't be happy like, oh yeah, we beat the 0-6 Jets by 8 points with no touchdowns and all field goals, the first time that's happened since 1941. I can't be happy about that, man. I just can't.
I mean, you got to be. You got to find some way in you to be happy about that. I mean, would you rather them lose?
No, I'd rather them dominate. You know what I'm saying? Like,
hey, we can't get what we want all the time. We can't get what we want. I had them winning 34 to 20, but we can't get what we want all the time. I mean, and you got to look at this. This is a divisional opponent. They're going to play you tough the second time. They're going to play like they have something to prove because they did get dominated the first time against the Bills. So they're going to come out in their backyard with something to prove because they don't have anything to lose. They haven't won the game. They try to catch the Bills coming in lacking. going up against these last two opponents and playing, pretty much dismal football. The Bills were able to snap out of that in the second half. So, I don't even know if they had a positive yard in the second half. Are you sitting up here mad? What you mad about, man? They had I think they finished negative yardage.
They had positive 6 yards in the second half.
Yeah, positive 6 yards. So what do you want your team to do coming out of the second half?
What I want is to not be down going into the half against the 0-6 New York Jets. That's what I want. I want Sam Darnold to not look like – I said it on the podcast this morning. It's like, look, what I wanted to see going into this game, I didn't want to see the New York Jets look like they had any resemblance of a credible NFL offense. I understand that Adam Gase didn't call plays today. He gave the play calling responsibilities up to his offensive coordinator, and they looked better. So I think the problem, first of all, for the Jets, they need to really figure out, hey, are we really going to keep this guy to try to get this top pick? Because Adam Gase he's horrible. He's horrible. But when it comes to the Bills, man, and so Jason is in the comments. He's like, well, we won the third quarter. So you're right. I should be happy about that. This is the first time for the season that we absolutely did. We won the third quarter. We didn't come out flat. I feel like we were flat for the entire game because we didn't score a touchdown. But we won the game, so I can't say that. What do you feel about that? Because that is a big point that we talk about every week about the third quarter.
You got to stop being spoiled, Jay Spence. You got to stop being spoiled. The Bills come out the first 4 games, dropping 30, something that we've never seen before.
It's not that. It's not even that.
Yeah, it is.
No,
that.
I promise, it's not even that.
Last year,
I don't expect that.
It was that. Now you want to
No, I don't expect them to score 30 points every week. What I'm expecting, I expect my defense. I don't care, dude. Honestly, God, if the Bills would have scored 14 points today, 10 points today, and we won, but the defense was dominant against a team that we should be dominant against. And I know the second half we looked like it. They had 6 yards. That first, Frank Gore averaged 5.5 yards a carry against us. So yeah, and actually that's one of the questions that I have for you. So I will. It's a good segue to it. When you're a bad team, you have to find those moral victories. You know what I mean? That's what comes out of it. But then when you're a good team, or you're supposed to be a good team, then you take the things that you did better and you try to build on them. So yeah, the second half, let's build on that defensive performance in the second half. But seriously, it's not even about me being spoiled, man. I don't expect them to be the greatest show on turf, but I do expect the defense to not let Frank Gore run for 5. Like the first 3 plays of the game, I think he ran for 8 yards the first carry, 9 the second, and it was like he had 3 rushes for 26 yards.
Yeah, that's a big run. That's all he had in him, man. That's all he had in him, man. He wasn't gonna give you that much, all right? Wasn't gonna give you that much. The Bills, did away with it, and start putting the clamps down and being more aggressive to shut the run down. All right. One thing I can say that I was impressed with, finally, we saw them make adjustments. This is the first game that you actually saw them do something different that we didn't see them do in the first half, that we was like, where in the hell did this come from all of a sudden? I like it. You know what I mean? So
right.
They finally came with adjustments. You know what I mean? When you're down, because you got to look at it. How can you make adjustments when you're winning all the time going into the locker room? It's kind of hard to make it to adjust. What you adjusting when you're up 21 points in the halftime, except for these past couple of games. So they're still learning. All right, they are still learning. We acting like this is a high power offense of with Tom Brady having Randy Moss back in us. They're put together that way, but they're not there yet. All right, they're still trying to figure out how to win against certain coverages and do it and execute it well. They've been struggling against these 3-4 man pressures. He's going to keep seeing that, and the more and more he keeps seeing that, now you got to put onus on Coach Dable of being a little bit more creative to get those guys open for Josh Allen to deliver. So, if you want to keep doing that, you're going to have to be creative in your play design and your play calling to, make defense do something else different. If not, they're just going to lay back and then, force Josh to make an error. And, you don't want that, but it's forcing Dable to go somewhere else to rely on to move the sticks. Run game, you got to emphasize that. They're not going to respect you if they can stop the run on 3rd and long. Guess what they're going to do? Lag back, 7 to 8 man pressure, and here we are again. So you got to get your run game. You got to get your tight end going. Once you get those two, when you get those two things going in your offense, it's going to be unpredictable with what's going to go on. The defenses don't know what to expect. When you're clicking on all three cylinders on an offense, from your receiving game, your run game, and getting your tight end involved with the run action, you're going to keep a defense off balance with balance. Right now, the Bills are learning to do that. And then, hey, what? No Cody Ford out there today. So what about Ike Bodker? What about the job he did out there today? So, once again, they're still dealing with a lot of injuries, but they were able to pull this one out. An ugly win, rallied together, and I think the defense kind of gelled a little bit tonight.
I agree. Like I said, all in all, I have to be somewhat positive and
no, you just you want to find something.
It's not that I want to find something, man. It's just honest to God. Like, I just feel like we're better than what we showed today. And in the last 2 weeks, so maybe it's because I've been so disappointed for the last 2 weeks that today it was like, okay, so this team we're supposed to slap these boys, and I'm so it's like, look, let's just get this done, and then we can move forward to next week. We play the Patriots, which at this point they're not looking like the Patriots. You know what I mean? So again, next week I get that the mindset of it. It's like, okay, it's the Patriots, so it's still a big game. It's the division rivals, but I don't look at it the same way I did every year for the past however many years. I feel like next week, Cam Newton or not, we're supposed to smack we're supposed to go in there and dominate those guys. So it's like, seeing this today, it that's what it was, man. It's not. I am spoiled. You're right. I guess I am. I'm spoiled, but it's because I've had good defense. So the offense is a treat to me. Like this offense is definitely a treat, but this defense, man, we gotta get it right.
But this is, when you really look at it, I think that this was the type of win that the Bills needed to boost that confidence. You know what I mean? And it's kind of crazy me saying that a win against an 0-6 Jets team is a boost for the Bills' confidence. And, the reason why I say that is, once again, dealing with adversity. You lost your past 2 games against the 2 of the best teams in the AFC. Now you come in playing the worst team in the AFC, back up against the wall. So, these guys make adjustments, rise to the occasion. Defense play out of their mind. So it gives you that good feeling going into a team that's been a thorn in your side for years. Finally, this is the opportunity to show that team who the best team in the division is this year. So that confidence factor should be sky high this week, knowing that how well our defense played coming into the week where we are facing the top dog in this division, when we're right now the favorite, and it gives you that boost of confidence going into the next game. And we know New England ain't gonna play you how other teams been playing. They got Steph Gilmore. So, expect to see some one-on-one matches. I don't expect to see Bill Belichick playing that cover 2 shell too much. But he is a mastermind on that defense. But I do expect that, the Bills will get a better opportunity against the Patriots as far as one-on-one and dialing it up offensively and being aggressive against the Patriots. I look for the Bills to be very aggressive against the Patriots, to come out to set a statement versus the Patriots, to go out there and play the Patriots like how San Fran is playing them right now. So I think the confidence is real high coming into this week, and it should be a good feeling all week to practice. And hopefully we get all those guys back, against New England, because they're going to need them.
Yeah, I think we definitely need John Brown. Not that we don't need any of the other guys, but I absolutely hope that we get John Brown back. Just because it seems as if today Cole Beasley was Josh Allen's security blanket in a sense. But normally when you see those plays where Josh, something breaks down and he extends the play, or you see that he's like throwing it up to try to like just get it in there at the last minute, it's normally to John Brown. So as much as I love the new connection that we have with Diggs and Diggs being here, John Brown is really the heart of that offense for Josh. And I'm hoping that he's back next week healthy. I know that those soft tissue injuries aren't really easy for position guys like him to come back from. So let's see. We got a couple comments here. Can we show some love for Bass in his AFC Special Teams Player of the Week game? 18 points put up. We should be praising the kid for being able to put points up. Offense couldn't get it done. So, yeah, 18 points. I mean, that's a big game. That's a big-time number to put up as a kicker in the NFL on a Sunday. My problem with it is the 45 yarder and the 37 yarder. Granted, he scored 18 points. Should have been 24. Like I could see if the first kick, like if either one or both of those kicks were like 58 yarders or 55, 37 yarder. What's the distance for an extra point at this point?
Well, it's always the automatic, end zone plus the 2, so that's 12 plus the yardage.
It's like 35, 37 yards.
Yeah,
you missed the extra point. You missed the extra point today. But instead of it being for a point, it was for 3. You missed that. And then the 45 yarder. We talked all last year, and I was one of the guys. House money has to go. House money has to go. He can't make anything over 50 yards. Now we got a guy that can make anything from 65 yards out, but he can't hit 37 and 45. It's a problem. He's a rookie. I know I'm spoiled, and I got to let it go. He had 18 points. It's the AFC Player of the Week type thing.
What about the one from 53 he made? What about that one?
He made one from 53. Thank you.
Yeah,
you're happy because he's
one?
Your kicker in fantasy. I'm saying he missed 2 kicks.
Yeah, okay, we know that. He missed those kicks. But what about the 53-yarder right after he missed the chipper? He missed the chipper. They got that big loss because the bad play that Dable called on low end around. But guess what? Coach
was it bad?
The coach could have punted right there. The coach could have punted right there, but he still showed the confidence he had in his kicker to go out there and make that damn 53-yarder. And guess what? That kid delivered. That was a pressure moment. That is a real pressure moment for a rookie kicker to go out there and do. To know that you got that vote of confidence in your coach to rely on you after I just missed a little easy chipper to go out there and boot a 53-yarder.
Oh, I can't hear anything.
Was a lot of
we
vote
can
of
hear
confidence
you were
for
pretty
a guy.
We're gonna take Joe out. Joe said he can't hear anything, but he came in really he came in really loud. Can you hear us now, Joe? He's okay. He said he can hear us. So Joe's gonna jump back in. What's up? So we got, ladies and gentlemen, I got a special guest jumping in with Muki. We got my man Joe Miller of the Overreaction Podcast. What's up, man?
What's up? Go Bills.
Go Bills. How do you feel today? Mookie was just yelling at me. He said I'm spoiled. And
You're like Mookie. He accuses me of overreacting all the time, and my man is like down, like he is in the dumps. Like, what's going on? Like, talk some sense into this young man.
Like he's ticked off. Like, I don't know what word do you want. Josh for 300 and everything.
Football is fun again. Football is fun again.
He wanted points. He wanted 30 points. He wanted us to pull out the Miami Dolphins playbook. I don't know what that guy want. Hey, we got the ugly one. I'm glad we got the ugly win out the way. We needed that ugly win.
This is where we're at. They drove the field 9 times. 9 times. They had 8 scoring chances. Obviously, 8 of them were all field goal chances, but they drove the field 9 times with a fumble. No punts. 0 punts in that football game. Now, it's not the no punt game that we all remember, Jim Kelly and the Buffalo Bills versus Steve Young and the Niners, where it was like 49-49 or whatever it was, crazy. But no punts. I mean, you know what? And the defense made some adjustments in the second half. It was pretty clear to me that I don't think their offense, the Jets offense, made any. I think they felt like, we know what we're going to get from this Buffalo Bills defense, and what we're doing is working, because in the first half it was working. Like, they drove the field 3 times on us. They went down once, scored a field goal, went down the second time, turned it over on downs. The third time, they scored the touchdown. I think they were like, let's keep rolling with this. The Bills adjusted and shut them down. 14 yards in the second half. 14 yards is all they had in the second half. That's insane, man. There's positives to take away from this football game.
But then, so let me ask you this then, and this is for both of you. So there are positives. But here's the thing. So we played the Kansas City Chiefs a week ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is fine to do against the Jets, who don't have any offensive weapons. The Denzel Mims looked great against man coverage. He looked great, and he's going to be a problem in this league for some time to come.
Yep.
But today the defense was able to kind of pick it up. But here's the thing. If the defense does this against Kansas City, if we do this against teams that we are more than likely going to face against the playoffs, it's a different conversation. We're only able to walk away from this and say, oh, let's take the positives right now, because it was the Jets. The Jets, they couldn't score more than 10 points. If this was Patrick Mahomes out there, or even if this was the Chargers and we're playing that other rookie, Herbert, out there, I guarantee you we would not be having this conversation, because we would have an L right now if our defense played like that.
No.
Come on.
No.
Mook. Come on, Mook.
No way.
Come on, man.
Look,
you don't play against playoff teams like this.
As crazy as it may seem, how the way the Bills game plan for Kansas City, if the Bills were aggressive for a little bit more than they were. If they were aggressive on that 3rd and 7, like they were aggressive all second half here, they might have kicked the field goal instead of Kelsey scoring that touchdown right there. If the Bills were aggressive on that 3rd and 12 and don't let Mahomes scramble out of there, Mahomes gets sacked right there. He don't find Chris Pringle running across the middle on 3rd and 12. You pressure bust pipes. All right, if you're gonna let sit back, a guy like Patrick Mahomes is gonna pick you apart. Okay, he didn't throw for 300 yards, but he was efficient as all hell. 21 for 26. All right, so pressure bust pipes. If you make him uneasy, get him scrambling, coming under pressure, man, Patrick Mahomes is going to turn human just like everybody else. He's going to be forcing stuff, and the Bills could be making plays as well. I think we just gave them too much respect.
A couple points on that, Mookie. I agree with you. Like, so we didn't have Milano in that Chiefs game, and Milano made a difference in this football game. His presence is felt on that football field. That Jackson kid played today, like that, and Teron Johnson gave up another 3rd and 20. He did it again in this football game. And let's be honest, I mean, the reality is whoever we're going to face, I mean, this was the Jets, and they've got that rookie out there, 21, what was his name, Gore? Like, that was ripping off 5.5 yards a carry, that rookie guy. Like, he's a superstar. Like,
please don't get me started. I just got off of it. Mookie, he just got me off of this, but I was like, Frank Gore, 5.5 yards a carry. The same guy that couldn't get us 2 yards on 3rd and 1 last season.
It was 5.5 at the end. It was 8 at one point, just like Edwards-Helaire was. It was 8. So yeah, he was ripping them off. But now Mookie's point is right on. Like, we saw it against the Raiders with the Chiefs. You know, they were pressuring Mahomes, and he was a little bit skittish, and he was not comfortable in the pocket, and he was forcing throws like we've seen Josh Allen do over the last couple of weeks. I put this in I'm in the middle of recording my show, so my show is half done. I looked up at the clock and I was like, oh, the chop up's on. So I like jumped over here with you, and I got to read the tweets from my followers. But in my show, like, for some reason, this is what I said in my podcast for tomorrow morning. When Josh Allen took the field the first time for the first drive, I don't know why, but my eyes locked onto that left arm shoulder brace. And I'd never really paid attention to it before. Josh has not been the same since he hurt that shoulder against the Raiders. And for a kid that's working on his mechanics, his footwork, his upper body tilt, and that left arm, you know, the joke about eating the hamburger. I don't know if either of you ever separated your shoulders before, but when I have twice, my right one twice, my left one once. And when you separate a shoulder, you can't move without it being painful. And I can't imagine if that's affecting or had affected in that Titans game and Chiefs game, you know, how much it had actually affected him in his throwing motion. I just wonder if there was something to it. And clearly, I think he was better today. I think he was feeling better. I think that shoulder's beginning to feel better, because he was, dude, in the second half, I got the numbers in my notes. He was 78%. So I've got the notes right here just from my show. First half, Josh Allen was 12 of 20, 60% for 129 yards. Second half, he was 18 of 23, 78%. For 178 yards. The Bills clearly, Dable and him began to figure out some of that man stuff, and they began to figure out what the Jets were doing, which is good news, because the Bills have been struggling zone stuff. The Bills have been struggling against that zone. So I just think Josh Allen's maybe returning to form. That shoulder might be getting healthy. I don't know. You guys can talk about it.
No, I mean, and I think you're right. That I guess I just keep going back to the point that we didn't score touchdowns. You know, even if it was just one. No, I'm serious, and I know, because I see Mookie's laugh at me now. Like, he's like, this dude is really spoiled now, and I get it. But what I'm saying is, seriously, man, like, you can't win with field goals in this league. Like, there's a reason why this is the first time this has happened since 1941. Like, there's a reason. Especially now with the way offenses are. So when you're going, again, I keep bringing back playoff teams. The teams that we expect to see come January and hopefully February, we can't win with 6 field goals.
What? This is the first time what's happened since 1941.
That a team who has not punted the ball on offense has won the game with field goals and no touchdowns.
Gotcha. Okay.
But there's a reason why, you know, like, so that statistic, as weird and as funky as it sounds, and it's like, oh, it's cool, we made history today.
No, that's not a cool. I don't think that's cool at all.
So, but it's like, and it's okay because it's against the Jets, and they're just incompetent when it comes to the offensive side of the ball. But it's like, if this was anybody with any type of offense, so that's my thing. But I'll stop. You both have told me that I'm overreacting.
Last time the Bills won the game without scoring a touchdown. Was it Green Bay? Was it 2017?
It It wasn't against the Browns. I can tell you that.
No, it wasn't. I think it was Green Bay when Aaron Rodgers came here. The Bills ain't scored a touchdown, but they still ended up winning the game. It was all defense and field goals.
Yeah, that was the Mario Williams game, right?
I mean, come on. Now the Bills won the game when I was scoring a touchdown, and you mad?
Yeah, that was the Mario.
I'm not mad at the win. I'm mad about the bigger picture of things. Like I expected. So
I don't think this is indicative.
I mean, the Bills. We're talking about the Bills here, all right? The Bills that was ranked 20 in offense last year. Okay?
But this ain't last year.
Didn't score a touchdown today.
No, this ain't last year. You can't. So in the same way that we say, and actually I think McDermott said it in the pregame presser, or not but in his postgame, like you can't hang your hat on last year. You can't hang your hat on the things that we did last year. It's a new year. We found a way to get it done, gentlemen. Okay, it's a new year. I can't hang my hat on the fact that last year we were top 5 defense and that the offense didn't score well. This year the offense is scoring well. I need the defense too as well. I just need them to do better, man.
I think you should be more upset. I think you should be more upset about the fact that this is the first interception. The two interceptions were the first 2 interceptions this defense has gotten this year. And the tweet that the text that you sent me,
about to bring that up.
And the text that you sent me that like the defensive backs at that point had more sacks than the actual D line did. Now that changed. It's by the end of the game because Jerry Hughes turned into a man with his hair on fire. That's the Jerry Hughes that we were paying $14 million a year. Like, where's that Jerry Hughes been for the last 3 years? That 10 minutes was the best 10 minutes he's played.
No, Jerry's been there. Jerry gives that effort.
He gets the effort, but he loses contain. He ends up in the wrong spot. Like he's just driving to the wrong place in the field.
But when you start sending those down and those blitzes up, see how much that helps your defensive line? You got to do that to keep them aggressive. You don't have that team where you can sit back and rely on your front four.
Yeah.
So they get a little bit more trust with each other. Then they need help. They need help. This is the NFL. You have to blitz. All right. You have to be aggressive.
Yeah.
You can't rely on 4 men to get the job done unless they are unless they are all pros. Then that's a different situation. If they are all pros, then be my guest. But if we ain't got all pros up front, you need some help. Send Poyer. Send Marlowe. This exact how they was dialing it up just today. I need to see that same defense against New England. I want to see us playing 6-7 yards back because they got this guy that could blow the top off the defense. All right, what he's going to have to, gamble on making that being accurate under pressure. So as long as the Bills can create pressure on defense, that's going to make the defense successful. If they want to sit back and rely on 4-man pressure right now, they're not going to be successful.
Yeah.
They clearly saw that today against our 0-6 Jets team. If you do not rush the passer and make him uneasy, I don't care if it's Sam Darnold or Patrick Mahomes, you have to pressure the quarterback. And if your front four ain't doing it, you got to give him help. So today he gave him that help. He started dialing that thing up in the second half, and guess what? They got results. They got off the field. The offense was able to establish some sort of rhythm to get going. We can carry this last half of football, carry this into the New England game for 4 quarters, and you'll get that respect. The Bills will get that respect as one of the upper echelon teams in the AFC, and obviously have a good lock on the division.
We seem to forget that 4-man pressure game isn't new to us. That's the wide 9 Schwartz defense as well that was dominant. But you're talking about Mario Williams, Kyle Williams, right? Marcel Darius, and Jerry Hughes. I mean, it's like talking about an all-world defensive line, and they were unstoppable. And this defensive line is not. They're just overpaid.
All right. Well, so we're coming to the end of the show here, but so before I let you both go, so I'll start with Joe, then we'll go to Muki. What is your since I'm the negative Nancy this week, what's your takeaway from the game? What do you before you do your show, you're doing your show now. What's your biggest takeaway today? What do you feel good about, or what do you feel bad? Just how do you feel going into this week, man?
Well, I don't want to give away my show for tomorrow, which it'll actually drop around 10 o'clock tonight, but I don't want to give it away necessarily for tomorrow. The takeaway for me is that's the best half of defense that this team has played. So the second half of this defense, the second half of this game was the best that this defense has played. And yes, it was against the Jets, but the Jets aren't a slouch. I mean, these are guys that are paid professionals, and they're building their resumes for next season. Gase is going to be gone. Williams is going to be gone. That whole coaching staff is going to be gone. But these guys are going to be looking for jobs next year. They're still trying to play football. That, and coupled with the fact that I think The big takeaway for me, and I think Mookie would agree, we've seen 2 games now, one in a loss against the Tennessee Titans and one in a win against the Jets, that look like Josh Allen's floor. We've talked a lot about this season is the season of Josh Allen. And as much as we've not gotten the season we thought we were going to get, like, it's totally different. The defense is not top 5, and Josh Allen has not progressed a little. Josh Allen has progressed a lot, and the defense has regressed big time. The reality is, if you're telling me that Josh Allen at 68% completions, 300 yards with no touchdowns and no interceptions is his floor, yes, please. Like, give me all of that, like, all day long. Like, and I'm excited about the Patriots because I think we have a great chance of being 6-2 this time next week and have a stranglehold on the AFC East. Stranglehold.
Okay, Mookie, what about you? What do you think?
Like I said, I love this type of game. I love that the Bills were able to rise to the occasion, you know, at its worst moment in the game when they had a, you know, going through some adversity and going into that locker room, you know, what's going to come out, what type of team we're going to see. And, you know, we saw a team that, you know, that Coach always been talking about, being humbled and hungry, but they came out a little bit more angry and pissed off in that second half. And, you know, they played like it. You know, if they can keep that juice, bring that same juice to the party next week against New England, man, from beginning to end, and they could be consistent throughout the season that way. Get healthy, Bills can make a real serious run. You know, it's a long season. And, you know, I learned a lot this week. The highs and lows and how you address certain things. I learned a lot this week, and I really enjoyed watching this game today to see those guys really arise to the occasion at, you know, their most adverse moment against an 0-6 team. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of pressure that the Bills had to rise to today, and I think they were able to do that. Josh, once again, proved to be efficient. He knows the numbers. As long as he throws over 65%, he has a good chance of winning. He throws over 300 yards again. The team won the game. We didn't score any touchdowns, but we still was able to win the game. And that's something that the Bills hasn't been able to do in quite a while. Yeah. So, you know, let's take the good with the bad and say, you know what, guys, it's 5-2. We got the ugly game out of the way. These guys are a little bit battle tested going into the rest of the season, and hopefully we'll see. Hopefully we can see some positive things continuing on.
On the touchdown point, I disagree wholly with Rich Gannon, who said that 50-50 ball he threw to Gabe Davis in the first quarter. I think it was in the first quarter was a bad throw. Yeah, it's 50-50. It's called a 50-50 ball for a reason. Either your guy's going to get it or not, right? And that was the shot that he didn't. That ball that he threw to Gabe Davis, where Gabe Davis got called for like illegal formation, was a beautiful pass. That was
an illegal formation,
and it wasn't illegal formation. And oh, by the way, if Tyler Kroft doesn't do his best Daniel Jones impression, he scores as well. So that it wasn't as bad as you think. Like, there was opportunity there, and like the balls were there, but it was it's not all doom and gloom, my friend. I love you, you, but it ain't all doom and gloom.
Well, my takeaway is that I need to rewatch the game, and I need to be a little bit more happy about the outcome. We did win. The Buffalo Bills are 5-2. I did want some smoke, man. I wanted this week because, like I said, for the code of conduct this week, my intentions fully were to talk big mess. Like, I wanted. You know, I got some family out in Boston too. Like, I wanted to go into this game like, you know, look, we back on our dominant thing. We about to come in there and roll on y'all. So that's where I'm at. But it's okay. We're 5-2. The Patriots aren't. They are definitely not in the same position as us. So there's still some things to be happy about. So next week we're gonna come back, do it all again, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for joining us this week on the Chop Up. I appreciate my man Mookie for joining me. I appreciate my man Joe Miller for jumping in surprisingly at the last minute here. This was fun.
He just jumped right in.
Yeah. So,
well, I was at my workstation, so it was like, all right, fine.
So you can check out Joe Miller tomorrow, or he said tonight is dropping at
about 10 or 11. Yeah, it just depends on when I get all the stuff taken care of. Yeah.
All right. So check out Joe on the Overreaction Podcast with Buffalo Fanatics. Check out my man Mookie. I mean, what do you want to? Because you're everywhere, really. So I don't know what to advertise for you.
Just follow me or WUFO Sports. That's WUFO Sports on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and you can also check out Bill's World. that's coming out real soon. And Line 95, I'm doing internet radio. So, you know what I mean? We got a lot of things to chop up. Just make sure you follow me there. I'll be in the Zoom room all this week. I'll be putting those clips up of all the good stuff y'all like to hear. So all you fans out there, keep your questions coming, man. You know, I meet with the coaches tomorrow, so I got a lot of praising to do.
Nice.
All right, cool. And as you all know, I am J Spence the King. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at J Spence the King. Tuesdays is the code of conduct, and every Sunday coming now, you will see Muki and myself on here for the chop up. This week we didn't really get to talk about the player and the coach interviews after the game. The Bills didn't seem to go live with it, and I know you got a chance to talk to the Muki, but we're at an hour for the first week. I think we can call this one a success and chop this up to you know, we'll do it again on next week. So thank you guys.
Thanks for having me.
So, hey, everybody in the chat, take care of each other. Do me a favor though, hit like on this for me so we can get this going. But hey, everybody have a good week. Love y'all. Peace.
Wash your hands.
Wash.